Weeks later, the KKK came with these flyers.
KKK must have been furious. Like, what? They hating in our turf? Hey, shout out to all of our subscribers and members here on the channel. My name is Reese Waters, and this is your Racist of the Week update. This is where we update some of the stories that expose the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination. And also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And of course, if you have any nominees, you can throw them in the comments. You can email me at admin@reesewaters.com. Today, we're gonna go out to... What? You ain't have to yell it out like that. I'm supposed to announce where we go. I know we've been here a lot. That's why we doing an update. Today we're going to Ohio. Oh, we're going back to Ohio. Now, we were just here to tell the story of Columbus realtor Stephanie Lovins deciding to go to a GoFundMe because her racism was exposed when she told a waiter that she hoped that Trump deports him. That waiter must have threatened her directly, or maybe sometime in between the appetizers and the main course, that waiter must have gone into the back and applied for the same job that Stephanie Lovins wanted and said, "These immigrants taking my job." It must have been something like that. Maybe the waiter, when they brought out the drinks, just brought like a little side of fentanyl. You know what I mean? Maybe it was just a little side of fentanyl that she objected to, and she said, that's what they've been talking about. That's what they've been telling me on Newsmax. We got to get them out of here. She got $87 and $84 over $100. That one I enjoyed because I haven't written a check in a long time. Yeah, I haven't written a check. I know they gave y'all deja vu. I know they gave y'all deja vu. And then at the bottom, I hope Trump deports you. And apparently, due to the scribbles, she didn't get it on the first try. Yeah, I think she didn't get it on the first try. I think can we get an expert to see what was originally written down there? Was it worse? Was it something nice? Was it an actual tip? Was she going to throw $10, $15 on there and then decided better of it and decided to go all the way to, I hope Trump deports you? Which really messed me up because I had just gotten comfortable celebrating the Buckeyes championship path through a Yahtzee march in Columbus.
Hatred on display just hours ago in Columbus, a group of toting masked men marching through the short north, yelling racial slurs with a megaphone. The incident all caught on camera by our 10 TV viewers.
But today we are here to update the story of another Yahtzee, not that one. This is a different one in a different part of the state. I don't even know if these Yahtzees know each other. You know what I mean? They might be dueling Yahtzee groups. You know what I mean? Or maybe just another chapter. Something like that. I'm not entirely sure what the organizational structure is, but it was a whole nother Yahtzee march. Y'all remember what happened down in Lincoln Heights where they stood on business? And by business, I mean the charred remains of the Yahtzee flag with the bullets on it spelling out LH.
Waving swastika flags, some armed with rifles. Eric Ruffin took this video of a group of apparent Nazis in Lincoln Heights where he says they called him the N-word.
Officially letting you know there is racism in America. This is absolutely ridiculous that I got to deal with this.
Other videos show counter-protesters breaking through a police line to confront them. The group that eventually grew to more than 100 took a swastika emblazoned flag and set it aflame, leaving just this blob.
like they do us.
Charlene Evans helped set it on fire.
In this neighborhood, we do stand for something. This here turf is golden soil, and it won't be tarnished with things like that.
One man arranged bullets to spell out LH on the flag, a message not to return to Lincoln Heights.
Now, we've already updated that particular story, and that was when the body cam footage emerged that showed police working with the Yahtzees in order to get them their service dog and their Jeep. And I think maybe they stopped and got some gas and got some refreshments. I think they went shopping for shoes. I think the one dude needed to pick up a hat. I think they wanted to go to a fabric store, you know what I mean, in order so they can make some more flags, because that one flag is no good. So can you take us a place to get like a fabric store or something like that? And then we wanted to get some T-shirts printed out, you know what I mean, some T-shirts printed out. It's gonna be Elon Musk doing the salute. We just want to get some T-shirts, so we get some fabric. Some fabric for that, and I would think, is there a place I can get a slushie on my way out of town? You know, because it be getting hot in the back of them U-Hauls. And by the way, you know we got no seats back there either, and God forbid you arrest us or hold us accountable for any of the laws of this jurisdiction, but we got no seats back there. So if I can get a slushie and somewhere where we can get some buckets or something like that to sit on.
New video just released by Evendale Police shows the moments an officer interacted with a neo-Nazi group after that demonstration over 75 near Lincoln Heights.
There's been a lot of discussion, obviously, about this incident since it happened 11 days ago on February 7th. So you're about to see the officer on the overpass first ordering the white supremacist group to get into the U-Haul and leave the bridge when counter-protesters then arrive. So about 5 minutes later, you could see the same officer walk up to the U-Haul outside of a Lockland local schools building shortly before kids were about to be released from class that day. Here's the exchange now between the Evendale officer and the neo-Nazi group in the U-Haul, and the one man not wearing a mask you're about to see asking if he can go back and pick up his service dog where the protest happened on the overpass on 75.
We're trying to figure out a plan to get that.
Yeah, I don't know if we've got to get him an Uber or something. That's probably the best bet, I'm guessing. I don't think anybody knows about.
There's a dog. If the dog in there is cool with, if the dog is in there is cool with me driving it to you guys, I can go and get it. But there's a dog in there. I don't know.
Yeah, we need to get him. He's my service animal. That's why I really need to get him. But get you an Uber. Let's go.
Here,
get your mask on. Let's go. I don't give a my face right now.
Just take take that black that shirt off, and you can get my car.
Cool, thank you, brother.
And then,
why you taking the shirt off? Huh? Why you taking the shirt off? Huh? Because it seems to me like you have him take the shirt off so that he doesn't seem like a member of that group. But you going and doing your duty to protect and serve the group, because apparently it doesn't matter. Right? So apparently it's all good and it doesn't matter. They just try to terrorize the community. So why it matter now?
If I got in the driver's seat of the car, would the dog bite me, you think?
No.
No? Okay.
No. He's a good dog. He'll sniff you to death.
You make sure you got your keys?
Hey, officer, did you see
hey.
Yeah, I got the
are you guys done?
Yeah, we're done.
There's no other.
No, we're just trying to go get the dog and get the Jeep, and then we're out. Yeah, we're gone.
Let's go grab it.
So y'all got no more hate. You got no more hating that you doing today? Huh? Cause y'all, Vince Carter said, I think I got one more in me. You sure y'all ain't got one more in you? Huh? Cause I'll be honest with you, I had to stop and get some lotto tickets on my way down here. You should see what's going on out in front of that 7-Eleven. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Chicken bones blocking parking spaces. You can't even use half the parking spaces because they're just covered in chicken bones. I'll drop you by that 7-Eleven. Well, guess what? That story was far from over.
New video tonight shows more of the response from police when neo-Nazi demonstrators came to Lincoln Heights last month.
Hamilton County Sheriff releasing hours of footage showing deputies and angry neighbors telling the white supremacists to leave the I-75 overpass. WLWT News 5's Rachel Hersheimer broke down the intense encounters between neighbors, police, and neo-Nazis.
and go.
A Hamilton County Sheriff deputy confronting a hate group.
Get in the van and go. Now, don't you spray me. I say get in the van and go.
Now that is a very different tone than the deputy that gave him a ride. That is a different tone. Y'all gonna have to reconcile. Y'all gonna have to reconcile that, because yeah, you better talk to him. He had him in the back of the car and everything.
February 7th, neo-Nazis waved flags donned with swastikas on an overpass connecting Lincoln Heights and Evendale, causing chaos and anger throughout the community.
What y'all want to do? What y'all want to do?
I just wanted to take a quick poll of the audience, because I apologize for not warning you before showing a brother yelling what y'all want to do. A lot of things can give people trigger warnings, but for me, growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s in a major metropolis, hearing a brother yell what y'all want to do is an emergency situation. I apologize. I apologize if there are any of you guys who are still dealing with the adverse effects of what y'all want to do. Because that is, I mean, really, some of the darkest chapters of my life have started with a brother yelling, what y'all want to do. And also some of the funniest, if I'm being honest.
Deputies tried to calm the crowd.
We know each other. I got your back. Come on, man. Nobody stands for this.
Now, that is the kind of response that could have mitigated a whole lot of this. You know what I mean? That's the kind of response. If we know each other, I got your back was the ethos of the entire force's actions and behaviors on that particular day, then I wouldn't be here doing my second update to this story.
But residents would not back down. Some grabbed the flags and destroyed them. Even when the hate group left in a U-Haul.
Go, guys. I'll meet you at the bottom of the ramp. Go.
Tensions escalated.
We got fights.
Back up.
A few feet away, a crowd gathers around a black Jeep.
Black Jeep is what the firearms and the body armor came out of. There was a U-Haul that was parked over there on that corner side of the building in the lot.
You then see deputies talking to the people surrounding the Jeep.
What are you all doing to de-escalate this crowd?
Right now,
not yelling, sir. I'm sorry.
I understand that. Right now, it's a bunch of people, local people, that are highly agitated and upset, understandably, of what happened here today. I think once we get this car out of here, that's going to de-escalate it a whole bunch.
Hamilton County Sheriff Charmaine McGuffey condemning the demonstration, saying the demonstrators had the legal right to open carry in Ohio, but came with no advanced warnings. The sheriff is working with the prosecutor's office about potential charges.
Now, remember, Evendale police also released body camera footage, which included one officer who talked with the neo-Nazi group in Lockland after leaving the bridge. Evendale police, they have now launched, or Evendale rather, the city of Evendale has launched an independent investigation into its officers' response.
So what you're telling me is that officer went rogue? That officer went rogue. Is that what I'm getting? So he was on his free time. This was just what he was deciding to do on his free time, you know, where he chooses to support or not support groups based on his own personal interests. Is that what you're saying? Because that kind of sounds like that was what you're saying. Now, given that had hit the light of day and general dissatisfaction with the general response of the authorities there on the ground, the black community was not taking this lying down. We saw some of that before.
Anger and frustration. Now turning into a push for more answers and transparency.
The people, you made it! Tell them that we're being respectful, please.
Residents from Lockland and Lincoln Heights held two separate gatherings Monday. A demonstration above I-75 South at the Lockland split and a town hall in Lincoln Heights.
An incredible amount but we need a full investigation, and it needs to be had in a way that at the end of it, yes, people do feel safe. They feel like they can trust the institutions.
But now it's gone to a whole new level.
Turn now to one community in Ohio, which is now the center of a growing national debate about civil rights, hate speech, and the Second Amendment. NBC News correspondent and NBC News Now daily anchor Morgan Radford visited the town of Lincoln Heights, where residents have formed an armed community defense group in the wake of a neo-Nazi rally. Morgan joins us now. You were there just on Tuesday. What did the residents tell you about what's going on?
Yeah, I was there just this week. John, it was fascinating because what's interesting is that this town was founded during the Great Migration back in the 20s as a refuge for black citizens, which is why it was especially painful when neo-Nazis suddenly appeared in this 3,000-person majority black town. But they decided to fight back, taking up arms and patrolling their own streets. Now they're at the center of a much larger debate about protection and free speech and who gets it.
These aren't police officers or soldiers.
They're business owners, their fathers, their sons, daughters.
These are civilians, members of the Lincoln Heights Safety and Watch program.
It's a duty. Okay, let's go.
The duty, protecting their neighborhood, the majority black village of Lincoln Heights, Ohio. At the time, law enforcement officials said the neo-Nazis did not break any laws, but an investigation by county prosecutors is ongoing. Weeks later, the KKK came with these flyers.
KKK must have been furious. Like, what? They hating in our turf? Not Ohio, not Lincoln Heights. That's our hate turf. No, because when we went to the commission and we carved up all the hate turf, that's supposed to be, you know what, we gonna hit the ground. We gonna hit the ground. Matter of fact, because I saw they left there in that U-Haul, and I heard one of them got a service dog. I don't even think they really fully functional right now. No, we hitting the ground. We hitting the ground running. And I would also like to bring up the fact that while I don't follow the local news in this area with any level of consistency, the fact that from a national standpoint, I've been looking at what this community has been dealing with, and we completely missed the KKK handing out flyers on the ground. That's the kind of thing that's just like, oh yeah, and that happened. Yeah, black in America. When KKK on the ground handing out flyers, I forgot that happened. Yeah, but you know, they be here. They be here every other month, you know, whenever they think they can carve out some new hate territory.
First African-American community above the Mason-Dixon line of staff.
Safety and Watch Group spokesperson Durrance Daniels says the police did not do enough, which was more chilling because the town was founded in the 1920s as a safe haven for black residents.
Lincoln Heights is our home. If somebody broke into your home, you call the police, and the police says, you know, if they do it again, we haven't broken any law, so we're just going to allow them to break into your home again. What would you do?
Are you worried at all that having a potentially armed response could just create more friction, create more danger?
I'll answer that by saying I've never felt safer as a black man in my community than I have right now.
The mayor of Evendale, which oversees the police force that responded that day, said in a statement to NBC News, "Our emphasis on de-escalation and public safety resulted in the incident's resolution without injuries to any of the persons involved."
Come on.
But residents here say they can't afford to wait. Every day, the Safety and Watch Group escorts children to school and patrols the streets.
Why do you all wear masks?
Those Nazis, we have reports of them finding our backgrounds, so we're not hiding ourselves from the residents, but we're protecting our family from what we're doing out here.
While many locals do support the security group, some, like business owner Eric Ruffin, say they wish the group wasn't needed.
We don't want to become what we hate. You know, we don't want to become a group of people that walk around feeling like we have a reason in America to have to protect ourselves.
Wait a minute. I recognize him.
Officially letting you know there is racism in America. This is absolutely ridiculous that I got to deal with this. I tried to elevate myself and hold myself to a level of responsibility and accountability and charity and business ownership that I could be proud of. And I got to stop at a stop sign and somebody called me the N-word.
What's up, yeah, we see your gun, bitch. Power. You see that gun? Fight the power. You're going to jail, bitch. Fight the power. Fucking fight the power. Fucking you fucking
I hope that this can change, but you have to realize that this is a big issue.
Now, to his point about we don't want to become what we hate and we wish this wasn't needed. As far as we wish this wasn't needed, y'all know better. I mean, really, yeah, obviously, but we are far from an ideal world, aren't we? We're centuries into a world that has veered away from ideal. So let's put that part to bed. As far as becoming what we hate, I think the end goal of being to maintain a level of peace and a level of safety within our communities requires that we look at all potential options. I don't think this was the first option. This was the option that was pursued when the response from the authorities was observed after the Yahtzees were on the bridge.
We contacted the mayor of Evendale's office, and they say that prosecutors are looking at body camera footage of the neo-Nazi rally to see if any criminal charges could be filed. But meantime, the Hamilton County Sheriff is also calling on state lawmakers to pass legislation making it a crime to wear a mask with the purpose of intimidation while open carrying, guys.
So, Morgan, let me ask you, one of the people you interviewed there, a young man, said he's never felt safer in his community than he does now. So this could have an impact nationwide, things like this. I mean, there is a contagion factor in safety. People always seek it. What did the mayor or anybody that you spoke to think about the contagion factor?
Now that's interesting. He's asking about the contagion factor. Now, I'm not a regular viewer here, but I find it fascinating that that was a question that was asked about the safety patrols, but not the Yahtzee March. We're not concerned about the contagion factor of the Yahtzee March. If we were concerned about that, then we would be doing more on a federal level to curb this kind of behavior. But we have seen a willingness and in fact, a bit of a directive from the powers that be to consistently turn a blind eye to this kind of white domestic terrorism within our country. We're not worried about the contagion factor there.
So this could have an impact nationwide, things like this. I mean, there is a contagion factor in safety. People always seek it. What did the mayor or anybody that you spoke to think about the contagion factor?
Duran's, I don't want to speak for him, but after my conversation with him, I feel like I could confidently say he would say the contagion factor has already happened. Because when I asked, is this a reaction to a local moment or a national movement? And he said, look at January 6th. He said, you already have people felt emboldened to come here locally because of what they saw nationally. If you can hang from the building of the hallowed halls of the Capitol and then be pardoned, not be prosecuted, why don't you think you can come to a small village of African Americans, only 3,000 people?
Thank you, and good night.
Group have any real authority, but as long as they stay within the confines of the law, they should be okay.
It's a great question. You know, I asked that basically, are you stopping cars when they come in because you think someone looks suspicious? Is that, you know, profiling in its own sort of way? And they said, no. We are patently aware of what our rights are and what our limitations are. They said, we're not officers. What we do is we are trying to cooperate with the police department. So if we see suspicious activity, because remember the KKK came back with flyers just after this rally. So they're saying this is more of a defensive posture to deter people from entering our community and showing them by virtue of our masks, by virtue of our guns, that you can't come here and we're not going to take this punchline down.
Now, I would be remiss if I didn't also present the fact that not all residents are in favor of this kind of action.
Tensions are high here in Lincoln Heights right now. In fact, as we were coming into Lincoln Heights earlier today, right at that I-75 exit, we saw men with those long guns guarding the area near what looks like a pop-up tent of some kind. And while some are saying this is disruptive and dangerous, they say they're doing what they can to protect themselves.
It's part of the reason a group of residents in Lincoln Heights are now arming themselves to patrol their village.
Putting a lot of people in danger by doing this stuff.
But some, like David Piscopo, say the display, while understandable, is becoming disruptive.
Neighborhood watch, but to another level.
He claims he was approached while heading to a work site in the area.
As soon as we got off the exit at the first stop sign, we were met with, groups and groups of people putting on bulletproof vests, holding guns, and just linked up. And they had walkie-talkies and stuff, but nobody in a uniform.
He says because of this misunderstanding, he had to abandon the job and he potentially lost a client. But those armed residents tell me these patrols are about ensuring their safety because they're concerned about police conduct.
As the story is being told, we have to remember that this occurred, this atrocity is what I've referred to it as, occurred at 2:30 in the afternoon when babies were being dismissed from school. That is something that is unacceptable in a community. Obviously, that creates panic.
After flyers with the N-word declared a race war began circulating on Tuesday, the residents declined our request to be interviewed. But they did allow a local pastor in their community to speak to WCPO on their behalf.
What became clear yesterday was that there has been a pretty significant deterioration in the relationship of the sheriff to the community. That's why people feel they don't trust the policing, the law enforcement that exists in the community.
Democrat State Representative Cecil Thomas met with the state's public safety director and says clearer guidance is on the way.
We don't have to create a new law, but we want you to be very clear as to what the law says.
Now, there is a whole lot to unpack here. And certainly I am not disregarding the feelings of the gentleman who lost work over needing to go through the safety patrol. However, I would like to toss back to what was said earlier in the video about we wish this wasn't necessary. We wish this wasn't the case. But we live in a world where Yahtzee's on the bridge and KKK on the ground. So we have to deal with the world as it exists, not as we would want it to be, not if we also want to feel safe and protected. There is a whole lot to unpack here. For one, the idea that, as I heard many times joked about, if we actually wanted to enact gun control in this country, then black people need to arm themselves and they will move swift, fast, and in a hurry. We see the divorce between gun advocates and the black community when it comes to a black person being accosted, assaulted, or even unalived because of a misunderstanding when they are legally carrying. We've seen it time and time again, and we have never heard from the gun rights activists to try and protect black people. So one thing we know is they're not going to cape for us at all. That being the case, this creates a scenario where they might feel forced to, because we have seen that the one instance which seems to really change people's hearts and minds when it comes to the right to bear arms is when they are in the hands of black people.
A lot of the laws at that time actually targeted, the rights of free and black people and their access to weapons generally, including firearms, to kind of mitigate that threat.
A variety of restrictions on black gun ownership extended well into the 20th century. In the 1960s, a state law was passed in California banning the open carrying of loaded weapons in response to the militant Black Panthers organization conducting armed patrols. The law passed with the support of the National Rifle Association and white conservative politicians. Fast forward a half a century, and it's common to find mostly white conservative activists protesting while heavily armed. Higginbotham's research indicates that many pro-gun activists view white gun owners and black gun owners very differently.
Typically what you see is that white Americans who have these stronger anti-black attitudes are, the most in support of gun rights or the most opposition to gun control. And what we showed in the research was that when making these white Americans think about, black Americans using and utilizing their rights, they're actually less in opposition to gun control.
The other thing which has to be brought up is, in the light of these conversations about Derek Chauvin and these conversations about trying to inflame this group or that group, one of the conversations we have had is whether or not we are being intentionally provoked, or really gone past that, the ways in which they are trying to intentionally provoke us. So we have to be extremely careful about how we move. I tip my cap to those folks for making sure that they are moving in lockstep with the law, because all they're looking for is a reason. And the image that they broadcast on right-wing television would be enough for a whole lot of people. That's something that we know. As far as Ohio is concerned, this was actually a situation where I have to fall back a little bit from my criticism.
Witnesses detail how the N-word was thrown around repeatedly after Mentor Councilman Scott Marn and his wife Wendy got into a fight with then 26-year-old Tony Q. Jackson Davis over how fast Jackson Davis may have been driving in the parking lot.
Word.
I'm sorry. Okay. He did. Okay.
That word can be heard on police body camera video from a woman after first responders arrived. Body camera video also shows how Councilman Marn ended up on the ground after being hit.
You don't know what you did. You're racist.
Well, I guess we staying right here. I guess we're staying right here. I'll see y'all for the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching the video and supporting the channel. And I want to send a very special shout out to everybody who attended our 2,000 member live celebration last weekend.
Yeah, Mobutu quit and he in the pool right now. Yeah, this is going to be crazy when they find out what happened. Come down. Yeah, Mobutu, he in the pool right now.
It was so much fun. I think we want to make it regular. Yeah, I think we're going to make it a regular thing. So we're going to usher in a new regular members live. I put a poll up on the community tabs. You guys let me know when would be the best time to bring in a new live onto the weekly schedule. And if you would like to join, there is a link to membership in the description box of all of the videos. Now that'll be in addition to the regular Tuesday lives, which we move from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. So be on the lookout for those as well. I'll be bringing in guests. And speaking of which, if you would like to get a little personal, we get a little bit personal on my other channel, you might want to check out Way of Waters. That's where I tell a lot of stories and talk about my journey to mindfulness and with meditation. And I bring in lots of different people to help usher me into a new phase of peace. So I'll be posting there regularly at Way of Waters. And I'll be remiss if I didn't mention my website, ReeseWaters.com. That's where you can drop me a kudos or send me a suggestion on guests or content. You could purchase merch. You could also sign up for my newsletter. And you can also do all those things by emailing admin@ReeseWaters.com. But once again, I am so happy that you are here along with me on this journey. There's a lot more to come.